there! We are your detectives at your service. I am Detective Carl.
I'm Detective Rhea.
I am Detective Eli.
And I am Detective Abby. Join us as we try to uncover the world of analytics.
In another planet, there's something that we see. Why is this and why is that? There are many things to think. World of analytics, world of analytics. Let's go for them. Everyone's so curious, and we are here to help. Knowing moral principles and analyzing them. World of analytics, world of analytics. Let's go for them.
Hi detectives! From the last group discussion, we have studied about the analytical framework of perspectives about Philippine values, where we learned about sociological variables and psychological dispositions that can be tempered by external values. Moreover, we have analyzed the context of understanding about the Filipino culture emerging despite Western influences.
That's right, Detective. We have also discussed Philippine psychology, where we have assessed historical and sociocultural realities, understood local language, and unraveled Filipino characteristics. But today, it is going to be different. Let me just call my co-detective, Detective Carl.
Thank you, Detective Rhea. Did you know that in North America, research was done to aim for the status of media ethics as a specialty in journalism and mass communication programs?
You're right, Detective. This research entitled Media Ethics Teaching in Century 21, Progress, Problems, and Challenges by Lambeth et al. 2004 reports classroom practices and summarizes the research and creative activities of media ethics teachers.
Correct, Detective. The scholarly works from this research included the classic 1992 of Lippmann, where he articulated about the difference between the news and the truth. He argued that neither the press and the institution were offering the public the quantity or quality of knowledge.
That's right, Detective. Additionally, in his book, A Preface to Moral, he aimed to search for an idealistic style of journalism that would reverse the jazz age of reporting style. He mentioned in his book, and I quote, "The moralist cannot teach what is revealed, he must reveal what can be taught."
I agree with you, Detective. The style that Lippmann refers to is the sensationalistic type of journalism, in which works of Crawford, Flint, Gibbons, Dana, and Williams suggested different ethical proposals, approaches, guidelines, creed, and standards to further set forth for the objectives of media ethics and the liberal arts.
Heads up, detectives, the methodology of this research is that they have gathered demographic information among teachers and administrators on the standing of media ethics as a specialty. The questionnaire used was similar to those conducted in 1977, 1984, and 1993, where few additions were made in the 1993 questionnaire since its aim is to compare the perceptions of ethics educators and administrators.
Nice to hear from that, Detective. The research found less drastic changes in the belief of both teachers and administrators that building critical thinking skills are often outcomes of liberal education that prepares students for professional work.
I agree with you, Detective, but it seems like there is a sizable upswing for change with research and teaching-related activities, as there were many studies which influenced the work of instructors.
Correct, Detective. The research indicated that there is a strength between instructors and professionals where the academe influences professionalism. Furthermore, this research concluded that both teachers and administrators agreed that media ethics has an essential place in their journalism and mass communication programs, and instructions have been improved during the past 20 years.
Just a quick wrap-up, Detective. We have summarized this research with the use of IMRAD. Introduction states that the researchers aim to look for the status of media ethics as a specialty in the journalism and mass communication programs of North American colleges and universities.
Methodology, on the other hand, states that the researchers gathered demographic information among teachers and administrators, as well as their responses to questions about goals, content, and practices.
Furthermore, results and discussion states that with the margins given, researchers summarize that both teachers and administrators agree that media ethics has an established place in programs in journalism and mass communication.
Detectives, buckle up as we try to examine a research entitled Changing Views on Media Ethics and Societal Functions Among Students in Singapore by De Tenber et al. 2014. But first, let me call my co-detective, Detective Eli.
Thank you, Detective Abby. Do you know that if you trace back the historical roots of Singapore, their political style is more of a dictatorial type?
Correct, Detective. In fact, the research study assessed changing in ethical ideology and beliefs about the societal function of media over the course of undergraduate communication education in Singapore.
Scholarly works of Chua et al. 2002 in this study mentioned that Singapore provides context to study journalism education. They have described the city-state with an illiberal democracy in which the media played a limited role of reporting government activities.
That's right, Detective. Literature review also included the ethical principles of journalism in which SPJ Code of Ethics enumerated the following. First, seek truth and report it. Second, minimize harm. Third, act independently. And lastly, be accountable. Researchers suggest the acceptance of the SPJ Code of Ethics as these are related to ethical decision-making.
Contentious news gathering method is also included on the list, Detective, where information may not be always readily accessible to journalists. Thus, tactics such unauthorized use of classified documents would fail to the hands of the journalists and editors. But in this research, it found out that students agreed that there is no harm with it and it is justifiable.
Correct, Detective. We also have media functions where some societies consider media as the fourth estate. They also differentiate liberal democracy from authoritarian, as liberal enjoy a higher degree of freedom than authoritarian, which tends to be more restricted. Moreover, the study mentioned that Singapore's media engage in self-censorship, where the current study is interested in how communication students will describe the function of media in Singapore.
The methodology of the study includes researchers who conducted an annual survey of incoming communication students in fall and outgoing communication students in the spring. They have gathered 900 first year and 600 final year in combination of online and pen and paper surveys.
I agree with you, Detective. The results and discussions of this study includes the three. Ethical principles, where the research asserted that there is a positive relationship between education and the SPJ Code of Ethics. Contentious methods, where the research asserted positive relationships and believed that contentious news gathering methods were justifiable to both first and graduating communication students. Media functions, where researchers found that the students' beliefs that media should function as a watchdog, not just a commercial entity.
Just a quick wrap-up, Detectives. Introduction states that the researchers wanted to examine the sense of ethics among Singaporean students and assess changes in ethical ideology and beliefs about the societal function of media.
Methodology states that researchers conducted an annual survey of incoming communication students in fall and outgoing communication students in the spring with a combination of online and pen and paper surveys.
Furthermore, results and discussion states the following. Students agree with ethical principles of truth-telling, independence, and accountability. Students also agree to the justification of contentious news gathering. Students believe that the media should function as a watchdog, challenging the status quo and informing current events to the public.
Nice work, detectives! Let us chase what we studied from the first research entitled Media Ethics Teaching in Century 21st, Progress, Problems, and Challenges by Christians et al. 2004, where we discussed the status of media ethics in the journalism and mass communication programs in North American college and university, where we summarize that media ethics has an essential place in these following programs.
Correct, Detective. We have also discussed changing views on media ethics and societal functions among students in Singapore by the Tenber et al. 2014, where the study assessed changes in ethical ideology and beliefs about the societal function among Singaporean students. We further summarize it with students agreeing to 4 ethical principles: justification of contentious news gathering methods, and that the media should serve as a watchdog.
Detectives, be ready to grab your clues as we now move forward to our next group discussion. They will talk about the timeline of press freedom all throughout the Philippine history. Right, Detective Rhea?
That's right, Detective Eli. We are also going to fly high as we discuss thinking about journalism with Superman.
We hope that you took all the clues today, detectives.
That's right, Detective. Join us again next week as we try to uncover the world of analytics.
In another planet, there's something that we see. Why is this and why is that? There are many things to think. What if analytics? What if analytics? Let's go for them. Everyone's curious, and we are here to help. Knowing moral principles and analyzing them. What if analytics? What if analytics? Let's go for them. In another planet, there's something that we see. Why is this and why is that? There are many things to think. What if analytics? What if analytics? Let's go for them. Everyone's curious, and we are here to help. Knowing moral principles and analyzing them. What if analytics? What if analytics? Let's go for them.